The war drone hung suspended in the cavernous repair bay of the Galactic Coalition flagship, its obsidian hull gleaming under harsh industrial lights. Admiral Beverly Chen stood with her arms crossed, watching as three Zytharian engineers, their crystalline appendages moving with mathematical precision, retreated from the ancient machine for the 7th time that day. "Status!" Beverly demanded, her voice cutting through the metallic hum of the ship's systems. The lead engineer, Zix-9, rotated its translucent head toward her. "Admiral, we have attempted 17,492 different activation sequences. The drone's neural cortex remains inert. By all calculations, it should be functional, yet it refuses to respond to any logical protocol." Beverly exhaled slowly, studying the drone that could turn the tide of the war against the Krethian swarm. Intelligence reports indicated this particular model, a human-made Sentinel-class war drone from the First Contact Wars, had single-handedly held the Andromeda Gate for 72 hours against impossible odds. If they could reactivate it, they might have a chance against the swarm's approaching armada. "The technology is over 2 centuries old," Zix-9 continued, its voice modulating in frustration, an emotion the Zytharians rarely displayed. "Human engineering from that era was chaotic, illogical. There are analog components mixed with quantum processors. The command architecture follows no standardized pattern." "Because it wasn't built to follow patterns," a gravelly voice called from the bay entrance. Beverly turned to see Albert Morrison shuffling into the repair bay, his mechanical left leg clicking softly with each step. The old veteran wore a faded jacket covered in unit patches from conflicts the younger species in the Coalition had only read about in history files. His weathered face bore the scars of someone who'd seen the worst humanity had to offer and survived anyway. "Chief Morrison," Beverly acknowledged with a nod, "thank you for coming on such short notice." Albert waved dismissively, his eyes already locked on the drone. He approached it slowly, almost reverently, like someone greeting an old friend. The Zytharian engineers stepped back, their crystalline bodies chiming with uncertainty. "Sentinel class, Mark 7, Albert murmured, running his hand along a scorched panel. "Haven't seen one of these beauties since the siege of Proxima. They stopped making them because—" He chuckled darkly. "Well, because they scared the hell out of everyone, including us." "Can you activate it?" Beverly asked directly. Albert didn't answer immediately. Instead, he pulled a battered toolkit from his jacket and began removing an access panel the engineers hadn't even noticed, hidden beneath what appeared to be decorative plating. His movements were practiced, efficient, speaking of decades spent working with machinery that predated modern convenience. "See, Admiral, these drones weren't like your modern AI constructs," Albert explained as he worked. "We didn't have neural mapping technology back then. Couldn't just upload a personality matrix and call it a day. These things learned, adapted. They had something the eggheads called emergent consciousness protocols." Zix-9's appendages vibrated with interest. "Fascinating. That would explain the non-standard neural pathways. But such technology would require a connection," Albert finished. "Something you can't logic your way into." He pulled out what looked like an ancient neural interface cable, the kind humans hadn't used in 50 years. These drones bonded with their operators, not through programming but through experience, shared combat, trust. Beverly watched as Albert connected the cable to a port at the base of his skull, a military-grade interface from his active duty days. "Chief, are you sure that's safe? That drone's been dormant for 217 years, 4 months, and 6 days, Albert interrupted, his eyes already glazing over as the connection established. "I can feel it, scared, confused. It's been asleep for so long, dreaming of the last battle. The operator it bonded with died at the controls. It felt him die." The repair bay fell silent except for the subtle hum of power flowing through ancient circuits. The drone's optical sensors flickered, once, twice, then blazed to life with crimson light. Albert's voice changed, taking on a distant quality as he spoke to something only he could perceive. "Hey there, old soldier. I know you're tired. I know you miss your partner. But there are people out here who need you. New friends, new battles. The war's not over. It never really is. But that doesn't mean we stop fighting." The Zytherian engineer's instruments erupted with data streams. Zix-9's voice carried unmistakable awe. "Impossible. The neural cortex is activating, synaptic pathways forming at exponential rates. It's responding to emotional resonance patterns, not logical commands." Beverly stepped closer, watching as the massive war drone's weapon systems came online, its armor plates shifting and recalibrating after centuries of stillness. But more than that, she saw something in the way it moved, purposefully, almost protectively, its primary sensor array focusing on Albert. "Chief?" Beverly asked softly. Albert disconnected the cable, swaying slightly as he severed the link. His eyes were wet. "It remembers," he said quietly. "Every battle, every order, every friend it couldn't save. These machines didn't just fight for us, Admiral. They fought with us. That's the difference your engineers couldn't understand." Human tech from that era wasn't about efficiency or logic. It was about connection, about trust forged in fire. The war drone rotated its primary turret, tracking across the bay before settling into a standby position. A single line of text appeared on the bay's monitoring systems in archaic English. "Sentinel-7 online. Awaiting orders." Zix-9 approached cautiously, its crystalline form reflecting the drone's crimson glow. "Chief Morrison, your species' approach to artificial intelligence is profoundly unorthodox, dangerous even, yet undeniably effective." Albert managed a tired smile. "That's humanity for you. We don't build tools, engineer. We build partners. Sometimes that's messy, sometimes it's dangerous, but when the galaxy's on fire and logic's not enough," he patted the drone's hull one last time. "That's when you need someone who'll fight alongside you, not just for you." Beverly looked at the reactivated war drone, then at the old veteran who'd breathed life back into a machine that had been dead for over 2 centuries. In 3 days, the Krathian swarm would arrive. The Coalition's projections gave them a 12% chance of survival using conventional tactics, but humans had never been conventional. "Chief Morrison," Beverly said formally, "how would you feel about coming out of retirement? I have a feeling Sentinel-7 here would fight better with a familiar voice in its ear." Albert's grin widened, years seeming to fall away from his weathered face. "Admiral, I thought you'd never ask." The war drone's optical sensors brightened in what almost seemed like recognition, and somewhere in its ancient circuits, something very much like hope stirred to life once more.